starting this video at 5:55 p.m. on September 10th. So I've already gone into explaining who I am and what I'm here to do. I come as a teacher, but I also come as a healer. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so I know how to transmute energy. Okay, it's alchemy. Okay, if you don't understand these terms, once again, please look them up. Okay, but emotional health, mental health, when we learn to heal from the traumas that we've endured, or we learn to forgive and get rid of the things that no longer serve us, bitterness, hurt, abandonment, rejection, shame. We learn how to draw boundaries with those around us. That is actually what pushed me to start awakening spiritually. Okay. Even though I was in the church for 20 plus years, I was a pastor's wife for 8 years in a conservative Christian church, but that didn't do it. You have to work through a lot of those things. Now, it wasn't until I was like 24 that I realized just how fucked up my head was from all of the things that I endured as a child. Okay. And all the hurt relationships. And I didn't understand how ingrained those things were inside of me. And it's not just from my childhood. This is from generation to generation, because all of these toxic patterns and cycles have been going on for generations. Okay. So I'm feeling the effects of all of my ancestors, all the patterns and the toxic traits that they did not heal, as I'm sure many of you can relate. Okay. So ultimately what happens is you go healing those things. Okay. You start regulating your nervous system. Okay. When you're able to get to the place where you're at complete peace when you wake up and you're not, anxious about what the day is going to bring, or, upset about the past, or whatever it is, in a tumultuous relationship in the current, or there's all these different things. There is no hole that is too deep that you cannot get out of. Trust me. Okay. It is an illusion that you have chosen and you have allowed because of your conditioning. Okay. You can live a perfectly happy, miraculous life here on earth. I don't care where you're at. I don't care what your financial status is. I don't care what your political background is, your religious background. And, listen, organized religion, it has been useful and is being useful for certain people. But I'm going to tell you guys, they're only offering what you can truly have in a box. Okay? It's a box. And guess what? When you get outside of that box, whoo, so much fun. Jesus did not come to say, hey, I am the only way to the divine. No. He goes, I came to show you what alignment is. And when you have alignment, then that's how but too many times, all these different, organized religions or different churches, they say, oh, you have to do this, and do this, and not do this, and not do this, and not do this. Now, generally speaking, across all of these religions, they all generally have the same things. Like, these are the good things that, show that we love, or show that we care about, humanity or whatnot. And obviously there's going to be things that you don't want to do. They're evil, murdering people, or lying and cheating and stealing, and, all of those things. So, we're on the grand scheme of things, we're all pretty much on the same page. But then, just like the Pharisees in the Bible, and they throw in all these extra rules, and they're like, oh, I'm more spiritual than you, and it's a competition, guys. This isn't a competition. We are all on a journey for our individual soul to evolve. And we're supposed to look up to people to help us learn how to grow and evolve more. And then we're supposed to reach down and help those below us. Now, as we're doing that, we have to, because there's different vibrations, okay? There's different frequencies. And so if I'm at this frequency and somebody's down on this frequency, I'm going to want to help them. As long as I am not compromising my own frequency and I'm setting boundaries, and if they can't respect those boundaries, then I'm sorry, you're going to have to, I wish you well on your journey, right? But I can't have you affecting my frequency, because I only want my frequency to rise. I don't want it to go backwards. No, we're going up here. We're not going back down. So with that being said, as I tell you stories about my own life, I'm going to tell you how I was able to work through and release certain things and work through certain things to get me to the place of healing. I started seeing a therapist when I was 24, so it's been a 16-year-long journey at this point. Okay? And it's been really hard. Really hard. You know, there's a lot of those things where it's just like, why would somebody do that to me? Like, what? But then you stop and you're like, what did I have to learn there? And when you start changing perspectives and you start looking at it from different angles and you start understanding and the human patterns and why people do what they do, and it's because typically where they came from. And that, I hate saying this because people are doing the best with what they have. People are not going to know how to love you and take care of you if they themselves are not loved and taken care of. Because if somebody was truly loved unconditionally and taken care of and felt safe, you wouldn't want to give anything other than that. So when people are hurting you, they're doing it because they themselves don't know how to get through their own crap. That's really what it boils down to. So this is my heart behind all of this. Like, I really, 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 I see how beautiful it is on the other side. It's fucking amazing, guys. But I remember clear as day what it was like to be on the front end of it and be so bogged down by all the bullshit that I woke up every day with anxiety. I woke up every day looking for external validation. I woke up every day striving, trying to prove myself and trying to act, trying to find my worth in things outside of myself. Who are you? Who are you really? What's your worth? What's your value? How much are you worth? You're worth everything. Everything. In my previous video, I told you you're a God. If you're a God, what's the value and worth of a God? And if you don't look at yourself like a God yet, you got some work to do there, babe. I love you guys. And that's what I'm here to help you guys do. Okay?